Other tribes are able to just give something like, you know, $500 per semester, things like that. So tribes vary. It depends on how large that tribe is, how many members it has, you know, their enrollment. It depends on what resources the tribe has, and some tribes are much more well off financially than other tribes. You know, so it really depends on tribe by tribe. Really, what I see is that we have different relationships with different universities. Some of them are very good. Central has really come a long ways from the days of, you know, having a poster with this Savage Warrior football thing, to where when the new president, when Michael Rao was the president at Central, when he first got hired in the summertime, he brought his wife and baby son over to Saginaw Chippewa Tribal College, and he just came over there and introduced himself and brought his wife and his kid and just wanted, you know, a little tour of the college and to meet people and see how things were. And people were stunned that he actually took the time to do that. And it's been a much more relationship, and he passed, or he did a proclamation that that Central would honor the tuition waiver, and any problems that would happen with the tuition waiver would be resolved in meaningful dialogue with the tribes. And the president at Northern Michigan University, Les Wong, he has been phenomenal in meeting with the tribal education directors and just expressing his support, financial commitment to what will it take to increase our enrollment of Native students and do meaningful work with tribal communities, so that we're recruiting the students from your communities to our university and doing a good job with your students while they're here. On the other hand, when I was the education director for Pokagon Band, I didn't know this. Notre Dame, the land that Notre Dame is on, was given to the Catholic Church by Leopold Pokagon, and he gifted the land to the Catholic Church so that they would build a university that would teach, that would educate tribal members, that would educate the people. Well, one of my staff members on the education department was a young man named Joe Morsaw, and he was one of the rare Pokagon Band members who had been admitted to Notre Dame. And he ended up dropping out after his first year and transferring to Western, because he thought that his, day one of when I became the education director at Pokagon Band, I would get phone calls from parents saying, my child is a Pokagon Band member and I heard that they can go to Notre Dame for free. And I said, well, I don't have anything official on that. It's kind of been like, you know, is there a relationship, is there not? Are they honoring this agreement that supposedly Leopold Pokagon and the Catholic Church had entered into with this university? And my friend Joe Morsaw ended up dropping out because after his first year, he was faced with a $30,000 bill. And they told him, well, you got a scholarship for your first year, but you didn't reapply for it. And he didn't know that he was supposed to reapply for it. And so some students get lost through these cracks if they didn't know. And supposedly there is a letter between Leopold Pokagon and the church, but it's, and I've met someone who said, oh, I saw a copy of the letter, but supposedly it's in the Notre Dame archives and can't be retrieved or is not available. So we have these struggles where, well, Notre Dame, they've forgotten their origin or what they, you know, how that land came to them and the promises that were made to educate Potawatomi individuals. Our latest battle is at Lake Superior State University in Sault Ste. Marie. We have a new president who recently was inaugurated. He's been there for a year, and he is questioning the tuition waiver and satisfactory academic progress and some other things that he feels why can't the university impose these. in his inaugural speech, he talked about these grand visions that he has for the university. And I thought, you have these grand visions, but where's the work with the tribe? Where's the partnership? Where's the university does not exist on an island unto itself. It is part of a community. And so we're trying to get our tribal board and the president together to discuss these issues and to hopefully enlighten him about the university's commitment to educating Native Americans and recognizing the barriers, the cracks, the gaps that our students fall through administrative bureaucracy, red tape, misguided policy, differing interpretation of policy, that whole mess. We are entrusting our members to universities to be educated. And I wanted to share one last story as I close here. And that is a teaching that I heard about the wolf. And in that wolf den, if the mother wolf has her cubs behind her, she'll fight and she won't let you get at those cubs. But if those cubs are in front of her and you come in and you take that cub, she'll lay back and not fight. And the reason is that she won't want to do anything that could possibly harm that cub. And so I think about our students at university, and I think some of us are fighters, and we're gonna do everything we can to protect our children, protect our family members. And others, you know, they don't want to do any harm, and for whatever reason, they let that child, they let those family members go forth into that university, and they take a step back of, you know, not, you know, I guess I don't have a role anymore, or, you know, I don't want to do any harm. So I just ask you to keep that in mind as you work with our communities, to see those sides of how we engage the university. And so as my evolution of a box checker, my dad, once I had children of my own and I lived in Mount Pleasant, and my children went to Saginaw Chippewa Academy, which was a Montessori school totally funded by the tribe. And my children were able to go there. And Helen Roy was one of the teachers there who would come in and do the language with the kids. And my father would be visiting us, and my two boys were little kindergartners, and he would talk with them, and they knew different Anishinaabe words. And he said, "Oh, that's so wonderful. Make sure you keep them in the language. That's really important." And I thought, I wish I had it to give to my kids, but I don't, because you didn't teach me. And I was angry for a long time. And then as I learned, you know, the struggles and the hardships that he went through, and how he took that step back and didn't want to do any harm to us. And so once I started working more with the tribe, and my dad just he opened up, and I've learned so many stories from my dad. I've learned so much about his life and why he is the way he is, and you know, what things were like for him. And what my dad has told me is that all roads lead to Ishpeming. The Ishpeming is, besides being, you know, a town in northern Michigan, is this high place. It meant this high place. So to get to that high place, whatever path you took, you would eventually get there. And that in how we're taught is that in our culture, you take what you need, only what you need, and you leave the rest behind. And so I've been very thankful to have many teachers and to have learned a lot of lessons along the way, some more difficult than others, to bring me to where I am today, where I can be in this position to help our students succeed in school, and hopefully to be that voice and bring the university and our tribal leadership and families together to work on meaningful resolution to the problems that our students are facing. So with that, I say miigwech.